Hi, I'm Donna. Today's class will be for finding your way into forward bends. And to make that a little easier, equipment could be helpful. You don't have to have it. Blanket to sit on, blocks or the seat of a chair or a stack of books to reach forward onto when we're standing and reaching forward if you don't reach the floor, and maybe a strap or a belt. Okay, and we're going to start sitting. And if you do need some help to sit up and feel comfortable, put a blanket underneath your sit bones. And the higher it is, the higher your hips are over your knees, the easier it is to feel easeful in your spine. Good. And just bring your hands onto your belly and close your eyes. Find a position for your legs that's comfortable enough for your feet, your ankles, your knees and your hips. Just let them relax here. But lift and lengthen a little the spine, either side of the spine. And then breathing deeply into your belly. Feel the position of your shoulders, whether they roll forward a little. See if you can roll them back, shoulder blades back down towards your back waist. And just notice if you're holding tension in your neck. Just wiggle your head a little from side to side. And let your skull float on your spine. And bring your attention back to your hands on your belly. And the space of each breath. The feeling of letting go on the exhalation and letting go of tension in your body. Good. And we're just going to start swaying a little from side to side. I like to think of the motion of a tree in the wind here. So if you think of your spine gently swaying, with the hands still on the belly, so you're still noticing that breath right down into the abdomen. Good. And then change the motion a little so it's more serpentine. So the lower spine goes one way and the upper spine the other way, and then they catch up. Just feeling that difference in your body, in your belly, breathing deeply. Good. And coming back to center. And just turning gently now your whole torso to the left, and without using your arms to help, but just keep your hands resting on the abdomen. Just feeling the breath as you look over your left shoulder, and then coming back to center, and then turning your whole torso to look over the right shoulder. You might feel that you're employing the muscles in your legs to do that. Just start moving from side to side, looking over the left shoulder and then the right shoulder, turning just the torso, but trying to keep a sense of spaciousness in your abdomen. Nice deep breath. Good. We're going to make it a little stronger now. So take your hands down beside you. Reach your right arm up, and you're going to reach your right arm across to the left side. So you start to stretch the right side of the torso. Left arm reaches up. Reach your body, your torso, to the right side. Good. Come back up to center. I'm going to do a couple more like that. See if you can still breathe right into the abdomen. Not tense. Just enjoying the space of the breath. The feeling of the movement starting to warm up your body. Creating suppleness along the spine. Good. And coming back to center. And then take your hands onto your knees and arch your spine forward so you really feel your belly spacious. And then arch your spine back. Good. You can even squeeze your tummy to your spine there. And then arch your spine forward. Might even feel the breastbone lift up, lengthen the back of the neck. And then arch your spine back. Squeeze your belly. Squeeze the pelvic floor. Good. And then inhale, arch your spine forward. Nice and spacious in your abdomen. As you exhale, arch the spine back, really squeeze. Good. And then inhale and arch the spine forward and lift the spine. And again, find your easy sitting, relaxed shoulders. And now we're just going to try and use the abdominal muscles with the breath. So as you exhale, squeeze your belly towards the spine. Good. And then as you inhale, completely relax. Enjoy the spaciousness in your abdomen. As you exhale, squeeze the belly. Squeeze the pelvic floor, but neck relaxed, throat relaxed. Inhale. Enjoy that space. A couple more. Squeezing the abdomen. Squeezing the pelvic floor. Relaxed in your face, relaxed in your throat. Inhale. Enjoying space. Good. One more. Really squeezing, but throat stays relaxed. And as you inhale, bring your hands back onto your abdomen. Let your breath return to its natural rhythm, shape, texture. Good. And we're going to take a all fours position. And you don't need your blanket. So put your wrists under your shoulders if that feels fine for your wrists. Otherwise, you're going to have your shoulders back a little bit from the line of the wrist. Wide, even spaces in your fingers. Press your fingerprints, base of the index finger, elbow creases facing, and put your knees back wherever it feels best for your spine. So we don't want to just sag into the spine where you're really creasing into the most flexible part of your lower back. So feel some support from your front core. The abdomen lifts, but you don't have to overdo that. You're just trying to find real length all the way along the spine. Good, and the back of the neck, and then take the shoulder blades back. Good, and keep squeezing your belly now. You're going to squeeze towards the spine, squeeze the pelvic floor, tuck the toes under, and hover your knees just off the floor. Breathe deeply. So notice if the weight comes back into the heels of the hands. Press back into the fingerprints, the base of your index fingers. You're squeezing your abdomen, squeezing the pelvic floor. Good, and then gently lowering your knees to the floor. Nice work. You're going to bring the toes together. Take your knees out wider. Come back into forward virasana. And let the weight of your pelvis really sink towards your feet. It might be resting onto your feet if your knees are comfortable with that. And starting to identify where your spine might feel a little tight or the muscles either side of the spine. Or maybe it just feels really nice here. Try and lengthen your armpits. Have straight arms if you can. Draw your shoulder blades back. Keep the neck long. And we're trying to keep the front and back of the neck as long as you can. Enjoy the breath and the sensation of the belly moving with the breath. Good, and then come back up into your all fours position, just placing your wrists so that it's comfortable for you. Good, find that neutral position for your spine again, where you can feel the front core support the back core. Good, your neck feels long, front and back of the neck. Draw the shoulder blades back and really squeeze the abdomen to the spine now. Squeeze the pelvic floor, tuck your toes under and hover your knees just off the floor. You want to try and keep your feet hip width, your legs parallel. Keep the weight in the fingerprints, the base of the index fingers. Keep breathing. Good. And then for forward virasana, your big toes will be touching, knees out wide, and take the hips back as far as your knees and your hips want to move, so that you can be curious about the sensation in your spine. Letting your arms lengthen, your armpits lengthen. Feel the space between your shoulder blades. Rest your forehead if it reaches. Good. And from here, look forward at your hands. And we're going to bring the elbows out wide. Bring your face and your chest just above the floor so that you're laying onto your belly and your legs are parallel. Good. Press into your hands and lift your breastbone just as far as your back wants to lift. So you don't want to feel like you're squashing into a flexible part of your spine. So just lift where you want to lift, but get a nice sense of stretching the abdomen. Good. And then press up into all fours again, and this time arch your spine right up to the ceiling. Squeeze the abdomen to the spine. Squeeze the pelvic floor. Good. And then let the belly sink down to the floor. And look up. Take the shoulder blades back. Good. And then toes touching, knees out as wide as the mat, back to forward virasana. And we're going to do that sequence a few times. We'll work with the breath. So inhale, look at your hands. As you exhale, elbows out wide, face and chest along the floor. Good. Lift the breastbone as high as you want to lift so you have a sense of stretching the abdomen. Good. As you exhale, lift up onto all fours. Arch your spine all the way up to the ceiling. Squeeze the belly to the spine. And as you inhale, let the spine sink down. Let the belly be spacious. Good. And then press back to forward virasana. Inhale, look forward at your hands. As you exhale, bring the elbows out wide, bring your face and your chest onto the floor so your legs are laying parallel. Press into your hands, lift your breastbone, stretch your belly, draw the shoulder blades back, keep the neck nice and long. Don't squash into your lower back. Why would you? Just find the position that's right for you. Then arch all the way up into all fours, lift the spine, lift the belly, squeeze the pelvic floor. Inhale. Let the belly arch down. Let the spine arch down. Good. And then come back to forward virasana. So you take your hips back onto your heels. Taking notice of your spine. Good. Inhale, look forward at your hands. Elbows out wide, chest onto the floor. Lift up just as high as your back wants to lift. Good. As you exhale, up onto all fours. Arch your spine up to the ceiling. Inhale, arch your spine down. Good. As you exhale, press back to forward virasana. Last one. Inhale, look forward at your hands, elbows out wide, chin and chest just above the floor. So press into your hands, lift the breastbone, look up. Good. And as you exhale, arch your spine up to the ceiling, so you're up on all fours. Lift the belly, squeeze the pelvic floor. Good. Inhale. Let the belly be spacious, hang down, let the spine hang down here, looking up. Good. And then come into a neutral position for your spine. Find that support again of the front core, supporting the back core. That good position for your hands, wide even spaces. Press the fingerprints, base of the index fingers, elbow creases face each other. Squeeze the pelvic floor, squeeze the belly to the spine, tuck the toes under, and lift your knees just off the floor. Good. And then we're going to lift the knees all the way up, downward facing dog pose. Good. You might like to warm your legs a little by pedaling, pressing one heel down and bending your other leg. And then opposite side, from side to side. Try to keep your legs parallel, your feet parallel here. So watch the toes aren't turning out. And then pressing both heels down onto or towards the floor. Lift your kneecaps, lift your sit bones. Let the sides of your waist lengthen. And you can help that happen if you swing your hips from one side to the other side. Maybe the stretches more in your armpits here. Just take notice of what stretches in your body, how it feels, what goes on. Good. Come back to center, neck nice and relaxed. And we're going to walk towards the front of the mat. So just take little steps to see what feels easeful with that movement or what feels a little difficult in your body. And keep walking all the way forward. And then roll up when you run out of room. Rolling up, arms up, reach up, look up. Whole spine looks up. Good. And then as you exhale, hands by your sides. Tadasana. Just feel the lift in the front of your legs, kneecaps, thighs, front of the hips. Let your belly lengthen, let your breastbone lift. Let your head sit really easily on your spine. Lengthen your lower back until it feels really comfortable, spacious. Tailbone reaching forward. Turn your upper arms all the way out so your chest feels wide, palms facing the sides of your legs. And enjoy the space of the breath right down to the belly. Good. And just opening your eyes now. This is where it might be useful to have blocks to reach forward. So let's test out and see how your forward bend feels. So we'll take the arms up, look up, and as you exhale, bend your knees. And the first thing you're going to land with your hands onto your knees and arch your spine back and arch your spine forward, all the way forward so you feel like you're stretching lengthways your abdomen. Good. And then all the way back and then all the way forward. Good. Okay. And then see if you can walk your hands down a little further down your legs. And can you still arch your spine all the way back and all the way forward? Good. If you've started to lose movement and you don't seem to have any room to move in your back, then bring your hands back up onto your legs. And that's where blocks or the seat of a chair would be really useful. Okay. If you can get your hands all the way down onto the floor and still arch your spine up and arch your spine forward, then that's where you're going to work. Okay, so choose what gives you the most ease, the most movement in your forward bend. So take support if you're needed. And we're going to keep going with that movement of the spine and awareness of the breath into the abdomen. So exhaling, you're squashing the front of the belly. As you inhale, you're letting yourself feel spacious there. Good, couple more. Finish off with the spine reaching forward, the belly spacious, and then bend your legs a little bit more and roll all the way up. Look up, reach up, lift the front of the legs. Good, and as you exhale, Tadasana, keep the chest wide, keep the back really long. Use the front core to support that lengthening of the spine. Find ease in the way that your head sits on your spine. Enjoy the space of the breath. Good, and then we're going to reach forward again. Take the arms out to the side, sweep them all the way up, look up. And as you exhale, bend your knees and find your supported position onto your equipment or onto the floor for your forward bend. Good, arch your spine up, arch your spine forward. Bend your knees a little bit more. Lift your breastbone and look forward. Good. See if we can get the belly a little longer. Maybe reach the right ribs forward and then the left ribs forward and then the right ribs and then the left ribs. Keep reaching the belly over the thighs. Good. And then let your head just relax. So if you're up onto your blocks or a chair, you're lengthening the back of the neck, so you're reaching the head forward. And if your hands are on the floor, you're letting the head hang down towards the floor. Have a look at what your legs are doing here. Try to keep them parallel. So we want the knees to face forward. The toes are facing forward. So the feet are parallel, the legs are parallel. Good. And then straighten one leg. Really straighten that leg. Lift the kneecap. Lift the quadricep. But try to keep the abdomen feeling nice and long over that left thigh. Good. And then straighten your right leg. You can bend your left knee if you need to, but lift the right kneecap, lift the thigh, lengthen the right abdomen. Good, and try again both sides. So straighten left leg, bend your right leg. Trying to keep the abdomen really long over the thighs. Trying not to arch up between the shoulder blades. That's where having your hands up onto a support really helps keep the spine long and easeful. And now bend your right leg and, straighten your right leg and bend your left leg. Good, we're trying to ease the abdomen a little bit longer on the right side. Good, and now we're going to go for both legs straight, and maybe they don't go all the way straight. Just go to where you're able to. And what we don't want to do is straighten the legs, but then lose the ability to keep the spine supple, long. So that's where using a little support can really help. Then you get to straighten your legs and feel the length in your spine. And feel that you can keep moving and keep breathing. Good. So just in your last couple of breaths, letting go. Finding length and ease where you can in your body. Enjoying the space of the breath. Good, and then bend your knees and inhale and roll all the way up. And lift the front of the legs and look up. Lift the breastbone, good. And as you exhale, Tadasana. Great. Now, a little bit different. We're going to step the left foot. I'm already wobbly. In front of the right foot. And if you've got a middle axis of your foot, it's that toe next to your big toe. So those middle axes are going to line up. Good. And what you're going to do is reach your arms up. Okay, now if you're pretty wobbly here, bending your legs as you reach forward is going to make your posture a little more stable, but you might like to try with straight legs. And we're going to try and reach down again. You can put your hands back onto your support. So if you're on your blocks, so I'll just turn sideways. If you need to look. Okay, so we've got straight legs. But now, once you get into the pose and you feel stable in your balance, bend your knees. See if you can arch your spine up to the ceiling, but then arch your spine forward, lengthen your belly as far as you can over your thighs. Good. And then see how you go straightening the legs. Try to keep the supple feeling in your spine. That you are determining how relaxed the spine can be. So no need to go deeper than necessary. Good. Now to come out of the posture, remember you can bend your legs if you feel a little wobbly. Otherwise you can try with straight legs. You're going to sweep the arms out to the side. Lift the breastbone, look up. Good, and as you exhale, step your feet back to hip width distance. Bring your hands onto your belly. When you inhale, feel the expansion. When you exhale, have that gentle squeezing of the abdomen towards the spine as you lift your spine. Good. And then we're going to swap sides. So this time your right foot will be in front, your left foot behind. Try and get those center axes lining up with each other. Okay, so if you feel really wobbly, try bending your knees. It's going to help a little. And if you have your chair handy, you can hold onto your chair. Good. Otherwise, we've got straight legs. We're going to reach up, look up. Good. And as you exhale, we're going to reach forward. We're trying to have even weight into the front foot and the back foot. Good. And you might need to put your hands on your chair, onto your blocks, or onto the floor, wherever your range of motion takes you with ease, so that you can discover where your limit is, the way that you need to work. Okay, so you can bend your knees now, arch your spine up to the ceiling, and then arch your spine forward so that you're lengthening your abdomen as much as you can. Arch your spine up to the ceiling, and then arch your spine forward. Lengthen your belly all the way out over the right thigh. Good, and then see how you go. Straightening your legs. You might be able to even keep your belly as close to the thigh as you got it, or that might cause a rainbow shape in your back. So find your space. I'm trying to keep the sacrum level to the floor here. A sense of ease in your neck. Lengthen your spine, lengthen your legs. Good, and to come up, remember, you can bend your knees if you need to, or else keep them really straight. Lift your kneecaps, arms out to the side. Reach up, look up. Good, and as you exhale, Tadasana, step the feet back under the hips. Keep the chest wide, keep the length in your lower back. Lift the belly, lift the front of the thighs, lift the front of the hips. Let the head just sit with ease on your spine. Shoulder blades reach down. Good, and then bring your hands onto your abdomen. Let the breath be deep. Good. And then we're going to step the feet together for Uttanasana again. Arms up, look up. And as you exhale, bend your knees. Reach the breastbone forward as you start to reach forward. Try to keep the length in the abdomen as you reach forward. Bring your hands onto your support or onto the floor and bend your legs thoroughly. Lift the breastbone. Reach the belly forward. Feel the lower back arch as it makes its natural shape, that little curve forward. So reaching the belly, reach the breastbone forward. Try to keep the knees together. As you exhale, we're going to try and keep the belly reaching over the thighs. Reach your head forward if you're up onto your support, or down towards the floor if your hands are easily on the floor. And then see how you go straightening your legs. You might find your limit here. Breathe and respect that limit. Be curious as to what your body tells you. Do you need more? Do you need less? Do you need more length in your spine? Length and ease in your neck. Space around your heart. Length in the abdomen. Good, and then bend your knees and inhale and roll all the way up and come up. Look up. Good, and as you exhale, bring your arms back by your sides. Good, and then we're going to bring the hands to the heart and make a little squat. And try to keep your knees not in front of your ankles. So sit your bottom back further so your knees are on top of your ankles. And bring one hand onto your belly and one hand onto your lower back. And just arch the spine forward and back. Check that you have that feeling of suppleness, that you can tune in to all of that movement available in your spine. Good. And then find a position where the lower back arch feels really comfortable for you. Lengthened, spacious, and use the front core to support that shape. So squeeze the belly, squeeze the pelvic floor. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Good. And you can choose here either just turning the ribs, so you're looking over your right shoulder, come back to center, looking over the left shoulder. Good. If you want to go deeper into the posture, take the left elbow towards the right knee, so bending a little more deeply. Lift up to center, right elbow towards the left knee, lift up to center. You can cheat here, but why would you? So keep the thumbs right in front of the breastbone. We're not trying to just turn the shoulders, we're really trying to turn from the core of the body. Feel each deep breath. You want to strongly use the front core to support the back core, so it shouldn't hurt your back. Just go for the little modification if that's what your body needs. Good, last one. And inhale and come up and straight legs and reach your arms up. Look up. Good, and as you exhale, Tadasana. Good. And we're going to take the arms behind your waist. Hold on to your elbows or your upper arms if you can reach. Maybe you're just reaching your wrists or your forearms. Standing with feet together, finding your breath, the length and ease in your neck. Good. We're going to step the left foot back. Keep it nice and light and step back so you can have straight legs. But you've got a nice distance between them. So as you start to lean forward, you're going to feel a stretch in the back of the left calf. Good. And just come back up to center. So you've got your foot position. Feel that they're about hip width distance from side to side. Just check you've got enough distance. Good. We're going to lift the kneecaps, lift the abdomen, lift the breastbone, look up at the ceiling. Good. And as you exhale, we're going to try and keep the abdomen really long. And the only place you're bending is the front of the hips. So that hip crease is deepening. Abdomen lengthening. As you reach your torso forward, keep reaching forward. Good. And we're going to try and keep the hips level to the floor. And where your hands are behind your back, we're lifting the torso, so we're keeping a little back bend. Keeping the length in the abdomen. Breathing deeply. Lengthen the back of the neck. Strong legs. Lift your kneecaps. Lengthen your toes. Good. Now to lift up, lift the breastbone. Whole back is going to back arch up. Reaching back into where your hands are, your arms are behind you. Lift your breastbone. Look up. Keep breathing. Good. And then looking forward. And stepping lightly forward. Feet together. Finding your balance. The ease in your spine. You can swap your arms, so other forearm on top. Good. Lift the front of the thighs, front of the hips. And we're going to take the right leg back. Keep it light. Nice big distance. So find enough distance for you to get the stretch you need when you press your back heel down onto the floor. And we're keeping the feet facing forward here. Feet are parallel, legs are parallel, hips are square to the floor. As you draw the tailbone forward, lift the front of the right hip. Lift and lengthen the abdomen. Lift the breastbone, little back bend over your arms, looking up. Good. And as you exhale, keep the feeling of the abdomen lengthening and reach your whole torso forward. Just bending at the front of the hip crease. Let the left hip crease deepen into the core of the leg. Reach the top of the head forward. Reaching the torso any amount. Strong, straight legs. Keep your hips level to the floor, your sacrum level to the floor, shoulder blades level. Good, long toes. Lift the kneecaps, lift the quadriceps. Holding your balance. Lengthened, strong core of the body. Holding your balance. Nice work. Lift the breastbone. Lift the belly. Little back bend as you look up. Keep breathing. As if you need encouragement. Good. And you're going to step forward. Keep it light. Release your arms. Turn your upper arms all the way out, your palms out. Feet together. Tadasana. So palms facing in. Lift the front of the legs. Lift and lengthen the belly. Good. Bring your hands onto your belly. Feel the breath. It's like a warm embrace for that part of your body. Tuning in. Good. And from here, we're going to take a seat. You might like to sit onto a blanket. I'm going to practice my sitting down without using my hands. You can use your hands if you like. Don't need these, but sitting on a blanket might really help. And as I said, the higher that is, the easier on your back. I'm going to have my strap handy too. So we're going to start in Dandasana, staff pose. And if you are using your blanket, try and have the front edge of the blanket just in front of the sit bones so that you can feel you're on the front of your sitting bones. And if you can't quite make sense of that in your body, try just rolling back, so collapsing onto the back of the sit bones and then rolling forward. And the higher that support is, the more movement you'll have to discover your sit bones. Good. So right on the front of the sit bones, we're going to sit up really nice and tall. Use your hands beside your hips. Each fingerprint or fingertip on the floor. But don't use your arms so that it squashes your shoulders into your neck. Keep your shoulder blades down and let your neck just be its natural length with ease and space. Good. I put my legs parallel, stretch out through the soles of your feet, even stretch your toes as long as you can. So not so much apart, but reaching them up to the ceiling. Good, and we're lifting and lengthening the lower back, the muscles either side of your lower back. Good, see if you can ease your spine forward a little into the front of your torso. Great. Now, if you have a strap, you're going to throw that around the insteps. And then it'll come back through the outer arches of your feet. So you can hold like that. And if you don't have a strap, you can just hold on to your legs or your clothing. Okay. There's always a temptation when you use a strap or a belt to really go with the strength in your hands, your able hands and fingers. So keep it light. Keep using your back, those nice big muscles at the base of your spine. Keep your awareness now in the front core. Feel the breath right down into the belly. Good. It makes sense as we start to reach the torso forward that if the belly is tense, there's nowhere to move. It gets in between the ribs and the legs. So think about being really relaxed there. And starting to ease your torso a little further forward. If we get really focused on reaching our feet or reaching beyond the feet, then we can lose sight of the shape of the spine, the work that's going on there. And we really want to keep that sense of being very supple and mobile, whichever posture we're doing, even if your forward bend looks a little more upright. So sense that suppleness all the way along your spine. Don't give in to the ego saying, reach those toes, tote that bale. Use each moment to discover a little more space in your body, a little more relaxed feeling in your abdomen. Reaching forward into Paschimottanasana, seated forward bend. So when you get to another stopping point, it just feels like that's the limit of how far you're going to move. Again, look for ease in your spine. And as you exhale, just squeeze gently the abdomen a little towards the spine. And you're going to make a little bit more room, and maybe you can reach your ribs a little further forward, your breastbone further forward. Keep your shoulder blades reaching back. So as you exhale, just gently squeezing the abdomen towards the spine and reaching a little longer in your spine. So you might be reaching forward. Some people are in a more upright position, but as you exhale, squeeze the belly gently towards the spine. Lift the breastbone a little more. Keep breathing. Good, and then you're going to relax, just letting go of your strap or whatever you're holding, and come back up. Great, and we're going to sit in a simple cross-leg position. If that is uncomfortable for your knees, you can just have your feet out a little. You can have legs straight, and you can put something underneath your knees if that feels nice, and have your feet a little wider than your mat. Good. And again, use your hands beside your hips, so lengthening the spine. And again, checking in, do you really have the ability to move in all those directions we discovered at the beginning of the practice? Full movement of the spine. And we're going to start easing the torso forward, but try to keep an access to all of those movements, the sideways, front and back. Good. Serpentine kind of movement. Good. So keep swaying the spine forward now. And if not forward, as long as you can in that upward position, upright position. Good. And if you have a lot of movement forward, remember tuning into the breath. So enjoy the spaciousness of the breath when you breathe in. But as you exhale, squeeze the belly a little towards the spine so you make a little more room for the abdomen to reach over the feet. Good. So we're really staying dynamic in this moving forward. Good. And then in the last couple of breaths, come to center. So you're in your seated forward bend, Sukhasana forward bend. Focus on the abdomen, the breath there. The ease in your spine. Good. And then inhale and coming up. Great. And change the cross of the legs, so other leg on top. Using your hands on the floor beside your hips. And again, finding your mobile and supple spine. A little side to side, a little forward to back. serpentine movement. And we're going to try and keep easing the torso forward over the feet. Good, so you use your hands where it supports you the best, or in the best way. Waving the spine long. And then letting yourself settle to center. So you're in your forward bend. Awareness to the breath right down into the abdomen. And let the abdomen retract and lengthen as you exhale. So you've got a little more room for the spine to lengthen. Keep the back of the neck long. Good, and then inhale. And coming up. Great, and then we're going to lay down. So take your legs out to straight, scoot your hips forward so you can roll back onto the floor. And that blanket might be useful under your head and your neck, but if you're really comfortable and not having to squash the back of your neck to lay down, then you don't need it. Okay, bring your feet hip width onto the floor so your legs are bent, and let your spine find its natural shape. Give the weight of your torso to the floor as you let go of tension around your back. And tuning in to the sensations that arise, especially around the center of your body, so your back, around your abdomen. We're going to press into the feet and lift the hips up off the floor. See if you can make a little movement between each bone of your spine. Lift the hips up nice and high. And you can use your hands to help lift the hips a little, or you can have them resting onto the floor. Just don't tense around your neck and your heart. Good, and then you're going to lower down. Get a little movement between each vertebra. Might even undulate from side to side on the way down. Good, and then completely relaxing. Okay, if you want to lift higher, bring your feet in closer, or you can keep them where you need to. But keep your legs parallel. Don't let the knees come out to the side as you lift up. So we press into the feet, lengthen the thighs, lift the front of the hips. You can use your hands if you like to help lift the hips, or keep them relaxed, but keep your throat really relaxed. Good, keep the neck nice and long. Lift the breastbone. Good, and then as you lower down, you can just come straight down bone by bone, or make a little movement from side to side. Good. Squeeze your belly to your spine, squeeze your spine into the floor, and then completely relax. Good, and then last one, so if you want to lift your hips higher, you can squeeze the feet in even closer to the sit bones. You can be right up onto your balls of your feet. But we keep the legs parallel, lift as high as feels nice for your back, so you can rest your hands underneath your pelvis. Keep the back of the neck long, keep the throat relaxed. Press into your feet, lengthen the front of the thighs, lift the hips, so the legs stay parallel. Good, and then to come down, you might be waving the spine a little from side to side. It's finding all of that movement. Good, press your lower back into the floor. Squeeze your belly into your lower back. Just put your feet out where it's really relaxing for your legs. But keep them parallel, knees a little bent. Let your arms out onto the floor beside you, palms up. Good, and for through the whole pose, just lift your feet off the floor. Take your left heel onto your right knee, reach your left hand through that hole, your right hand in front of your right knee, and gently squeezing your legs towards you. Let the belly feel hollow. Breathe deeply into that part of the body. Good. You're going to put your right foot down onto the floor and let both legs fall to the right side. So if they don't go all the way and it's easeful for your back, you can put something underneath. Good. Otherwise, you might be able to get your left foot all the way down onto the floor. Might be out of shot here. Good. And you keep your left shoulder blade onto the floor. Don't need to look over your left shoulder. Good. And then coming back up to center. Good. So feet are off the floor, uncross your legs and bring your knees into your chest. Good. And then take your right heel onto your left knee. Take your right hand through the hole under your right leg and hold in front of your left knee. Maybe that's an uncomfortable place to hold. You want to keep your shoulders relaxed onto the floor, your head and throat relaxed. So you can hold behind your thigh or where it feels okay for you. And feel the breath all the way into the belly. It's gentle expansion and hollowing. Good. And then we're going to let the legs all the way to the left side. So you put your left foot down onto the floor and then let the legs fall to the left. So your right foot might go all the way to the floor, or else put something under your foot and your knee if you need to. Your right shoulder blade stays onto the floor. And you look over the right shoulder and you can close your eyes. Just let your body really take the shape of the posture. Settle in. Good, and then lifting the legs. Hug your knees into your chest and rock a little across your sacrum, your spine. Good. Take your legs out to straight. And you're going to put your left toes up on, your left heel up onto your right toes. So your feet make a straight line. Put your hands out onto the floor beside you, palms up. And we're going to roll the feet across to the right side and let your left hip lift off the floor, let your left lower back lift off the floor, and let the belly be spacious, relaxed. Turning to look over your left shoulder. You can make the cave, the shape between your lower back and the floor, as cavernous as feels good in your body. Good, and then coming back to center. And then right heel on your left toes. So your feet make a straight line up to the ceiling. Good, and then you let your legs fall over to the left side. So your right hip comes off the floor, the right side of the spine off the floor. And again, you can determine how much you press out through your legs, how much you lift your spine away from the floor. But just enjoying the spaciousness of the breath in your abdomen. Good. And then release. and bringing your legs back into bent, but have your feet on the floor hip width. Just letting your spine find its natural shape, letting go of tension that you don't need. Bring your hands onto your abdomen. Aware of the life force there. Good. And then for Shavasana, you can add on the Shavasana video from my channel, or just laying your legs out. Otherwise, you can just pause the video once you're in position and stay for as long as you like. Just make sure you're comfortable when you're flat on the floor. A blanket underneath your thighs will alleviate any sense of pulling in your lower back. You can just roll that up and put it under your thighs. Or you might need a little bit of support under your head and your neck. Make yourself comfortable and settle in. But also find your symmetry and really focus each breath into the abdomen, enjoying the space of the in-breath and the letting go of the out-breath. Take the feeling of the practice with you. Namaste.